Alright guys, something very interesting happened earlier today, and this could be very good news for what Rockstar might be doing next here in Grand Theft Auto Online. We're going to be talking about all of that and more in this video today. So what's going on, guys? My name is Ross, or Mr. Boss for the win. Hopefully you're having an awesome Thursday, enjoying the event week so far. Well, before the event week even went live, Rockstar did something that we've been monitoring for years now. So because Rockstar doesn't put out newswire posts that say like, hey, in 2020, we're going to have an update that's about this, and then we're going to do a DLC that features this kind of content. Unlike some developers and publishers that are very clear and transparent with what they're going to be doing over years or quarters, Rockstar doesn't do that at all. We really don't figure out what they're doing until they exactly announce it. And then it's like, hey, you've got a week to prepare for what's coming up. Well, thanks to one website, which is the Steam database website, we can actually get an idea of when Rockstar are making changes behind the scenes. And this allows us to figure out, okay, they might be close to doing something. And so this is something, again, that we've been following for years now. And earlier today, Rockstar made another big update. So I will, of course, leave a link to that Steam database site in the description if you guys are interested. When I took this screenshot, which was around lunchtime today on Thursday, July 9th, 2020, the last record update was about 9 hours ago, and that update actually happened to be the QA Beta 2 branch. And you guys can see there, QA Beta 2 was last updated. Its build ID was 5266483 around 9 hours ago. QA Beta 3, which we'll talk about in a little bit, is traditionally updated a couple of times a week with its build ID 5266483, exact same as QA Beta 2. External builds, which we talked about in a previous video, that was updated a couple of days ago. And then, of course, you can see the public build, which is the one that we are playing on, which is 4827007. Now, I'm sure you guys are wondering, why is it so interesting that Rockstar updated QA Beta 2 versus QA Beta 3? What's going on here? Well, we've explained this in previous videos, but QA Beta 3 is essentially used for like background updates, bug fixes, patching little exploits and stuff like that. QA Beta 2 is usually when Rockstar is testing out new content. Because again, QA Beta stands for Quality Assurance Beta. So this would be Rockstar testing new content on their own private developer servers before it actually is set to go live. That way, whenever a DLC does arrive and happens in-game, Rockstar won't have as many bugs or glaring issues. So this is good news. Now, this actually happened last week where QA Beta 2 got an update. It was its first update that it happened in actually a couple of months. So when that happened a week ago, it was pretty significant, and I'd say it's still pretty significant that it's happening right now. This is only the second time that it's gotten that update, and I honestly think this is good news. And we'll be talking about how Rockstar might have been limited up until this point at a little bit, but I still think that this is a step in the right direction. Honestly, I'm just trying to look for as many silver linings and as much positivity as possible here. I know fans of Rockstar and Grand Theft Auto are just desperate for something new to come out in GTA Online if you're a fan of both their multiplayer titles, Red Dead Online as well. But Rockstar is showing some signs of life, and they are doing so by updating this QA Beta branch on the Steam database site, which again I will leave a link to in the description. Now, I also saw this very interesting post on the next DLC speculation topic earlier today. There was a user, Zach Rass, who apparently is from Scotland, and he said this: minor update from Scotland. Rockstar North aren't officially allowed back until July 31st at the earliest, but they'll be forced to enforce distancing in the building if they do. They can still work from home and work flexibly. Essentially means come in if it's worth the trouble or absolutely necessary. So I've talked about this in previous videos, how this pandemic is affecting every single person a little bit differently. Everyone has their own set of circumstances that will make the pandemic either more serious or less serious. There's also rules and regulations depending on what country you live in. And since Rockstar North is based in Edinburgh, Scotland, it looks like they aren't allowed to go back to their main offices until later this month, July 31st, which means up until this point, Rockstar has been doing all of their work remotely, which you can understand is probably a little bit tough to do. And this actually generated a response from an admin on the site, Spidervice, who ended up saying this: "Yeah, and in all seriousness now, it's not as easy as most of this forum thinks to just create content or patches from home. There's a lot of reserved systems that developers need to access exclusively from remote connections to virtual machines to avoid data leakage or connecting to work VPNs directly for sensitive info, especially when we're talking about Rockstar. You can code from home, but you can be sure as hell none of these files can be saved on your PC, so they probably need to do it on remote PCs that are much harder to work with from home. Same goes for 3D artists trying to make 3D assets from home. Imagine doing that via remote desktop or a virtual machine that directly depends on your network speed. Work VPN allows you to access email and documentation wikis and such, but no AAA game development company is going to let you have confidential files on your personal computers. So they need to give their developers pretty convoluted solutions like connecting to remote development virtual machines and such. It's not the same thing as being physically at the studio, connected to the worldwide all studios network to freely share assets and code and submit stuff. Game development is much more like a regular job with restrictions, meetings, tight deadlines, and requirements than a lot of people think. Therefore, it's unlikely we'll be seeing anything too relevant in the next few months. This goes for all AAA studios. But if some studios already had their projects near completion, that makes it easier to complete and release. Speaking of testing, that would be another huge post to talk about. It's not for no reason Microsoft had to make available specific xCloud instances for Xbox developers to work with at home. So I know that was a lot to take in, but that was a very educational post from Spidervice, who clearly knows what he's talking about from that front. And he is 100% right. We obviously don't know all the limitations that Rockstar, their developers, their artists are going through right now. And so because of that, that's why I've been saying we honestly have to give them the benefit of the doubt here. We don't know how this unprecedented situation is affecting them, their ability to create new content. It might be one of the reasons why, like, every single week, it seems like the newswire is always much later than normal. Like, the event for the tunables always changes at like 4 to 5 a.m. Eastern time, but recently we haven't been getting the newswire till like the end of the day. So I wonder if it's because it's just a lot harder to even do something simple like that, putting together a newswire page. So it honestly wouldn't surprise me if the so-called summer update that we are expecting may not even release in the summer, and Rockstar might not even have anything available for a couple of months. I know that's a scary thought to think about because, at least according to Rockstar, they were planning on having a huge 2020 in terms of updates for GTA Online, but it looks like obviously this unprecedented situation that we're still living in every single day is affecting even big-time video game companies in ways we probably would have never expected. So that's the update on Rockstar from that front. Now, we were talking about what Rockstar could actually do in the intermediary if there was no DLC, and one of the things we discussed was them adding more Jerrold missions. And a user on the GTA forum site said this: "I think it works like this. The Jerrold missions we've gotten were already in the files of the Diamond Casino Heist update. So all they did was update the tunables and activate them from there like they would do with an unreleased drip feed car. They instead use this depot when the missions are not in the game files, but they want to add them by remote, if that makes sense. Correct me if I'm wrong, Fun, but we didn't have the Simeon repo missions in the files of Arena Wars, and neither the Martin Madrazo dispatch missions in the files of San Andreas Supersport Series update. Instead, they added them to the game via remote, and that's what they're doing here. Here, they had the first 6 missions already in the files, ready to come out whenever they pleased, but they're expanding on them. 2 or more were already planned but didn't make it in the update in time, So they're doing what they did with the Martin or Simeon missions last year, adding them by remote through this depot. And TezFunds2 says, as Rolsha2282 stated, the missions aren't exactly located in the files of the update. They are composed of two parts: a server-side file, aka the main file, that contains the basic variables for a mission such as spawn locations, mission objectives, types of enemies, etc., and the scripts that handle and execute these variables. Plus, extra features are added if needed. Despite this, Rockstar almost certainly prepares the missions before the release of a new update on the developer environment, then move them to a public server, which could be what was done with the recent Steam database update. I don't know about the last part. Technically speaking, they could have released all of them at once, but I think it's due to marketing decisions, which is why I presumed it was kept as drip feed content. So again, I know that was a lot to take in, and as the current event update has already happened this week on Thursday, we didn't see any new missions. So there weren't any new Jerrold stuff. So I don't know if Rockstar is saving them for yet another day down the road, if these are missions we will just never see added in Grand Theft Auto Online. I thought for sure this was going to be Rockstar's like backup in case we get further into July, further into August, and there still hasn't been any like content updates to Grand Theft Auto Online other than the weekly events that we're getting. They would like add these new Jerrold missions in, and I guess Rockstar would feel like that would satisfy some players. Although I can tell you right now that that would probably not make people happy if we ended up getting new Jerrold missions in lieu of like an actual update. But again, like we talked about earlier, Rockstar could be very limited in the things they've basically been able to do over the last like 3 or 4 months. So you kind of have to give them the benefit of the doubt. But anyways, that is all the information that I have got for you guys in this video today. I know it was a lot to take in, but I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. What do you think Rockstar Games is up to in Grand Theft Auto Online with the changes they're making? Do you think we're going to see new Jerrold missions? Do you think it's going to be a while before we get a new update? Let me know what you guys are thinking in those comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.